Okay, so now that you know how to tighten your bow, you need to learn how to hold it. And here's the reason it has to be tight, is because if you look at, we're looking at the thumb leather in proximity to the frog here. This is on a loosened bow. And this is on a properly tightened bow. Okay, let me just maybe flip this over. So there's a lot more space here than there is here. And this is where your thumb needs to go, not in here, but touching the stick. So if the frog is too close to the thumb leather, if you cannot fit your thumb in this little space, then you need to either tighten your bow, or I don't know, just make sure it's not over tight. A properly tightened bow should actually pull the frog back enough that you can fit your finger there. So if your bow does not tighten, or it actually gets over tight by giving you enough space here to put your thumb in, an over tightened bow would have the stick pretty much parallel to the hair like this. This would be too tight. And you can also tighten your bow to the point that it actually cambers outwards, which really runs the risk of breakage. So if your bow has to look like this for you to have enough space for your thumb here, you should send your bow to a luthier. It means that the hair on your bow is too short. So in order for you to pull the frog back enough to get your thumb in here, the hair is pulling too much, it's too short, it's pulling the bow outward, and you just need a little bit longer hair. Depending on the climate that you live in, this could be a seasonal thing. In like wet climates, your bow hair can be one length, and then if it gets really dry and hot in the summer, you might need a summer rehair, whether you need it or not. The hair on your stick might need to be longer at that point. Who knows? So just defer to your luthier before over tightening your bow for any reason. Anyway, so once we've got our, trying to scoop on carpet. Once we've got our properly tightened bow, you give me a nice thumbs up, rather thumbs down, I guess. And you're gonna stick the tip of your thumb onto the bow right there, not through it, not jamming it down in here, just the tip of your thumb touching in that little spot there. If you look on my violin bow here, you can actually see a little bit of the winding there, because if I tighten it up a little bit, that is where my thumb goes, right in that little spot. Boop, if I roll it out. This piece of leather here, or it might be plastic on your bow, who knows. But this thing is called the thumb leather, and it is meant to protect from thumb wear on the wood, on the whatever your bow is made of. This one is wood. It's meant to help protect against wear there. I have a very old bow where the wood has actually started to scoop in at this point from 100 years or so of thumbs being put there. So your thumb definitely goes on the wood, or whatever your bow is made out of goes in this little spot. So you want your thumb to be curved downward, this knuckle pointing down, not scooped up like this. So some people call it a bumpy thumb or a mountain thumb because it kind of looks like a mountain. I like to think of it as a smiley face. If my hand were kind of a puppet, this is its bottom lip thing. So this is a smiley face. If your thumb is in like this, it's a big frown. We don't want frowny faces. So you want to have a nice bumpy thumb here. Your middle and your ring finger should be rather close together and cover the frog. Now, you might see me or other advanced violinists or violists play a little bit more pronated and we're not completely covering the frog. That's okay. Your bow grip will naturally migrate to something more advanced when you kind of get more comfortable with how the bow works. But for now, for my beginner students, I teach the thumb here and these two fingers covering the eye of the frog. If your frog has a little eye of mother of pearl, I should not be able to tell. Not all frogs do, but basically even if you don't have one, I shouldn't see it. I shouldn't know. Next is your index finger. And your index finger should wrap pretty close to your other fingers. You don't want it way up here. Some people tend to think that the more space they cover on the bow, the more control you have, but actually that is incorrect. The more space you cover, the less control you have, because your fingers are now very tense. They aren't flexible, and you actually have more control of the bow if you have a more compact and very flexible bow grip. So you want to have your finger pretty close to the others, not wrapped around or, you know, this far down. I call this middle knuckle the joint of no return. If it goes over the bow like this, then you are heavily pronated and you're getting into the Russian bow grip land that I do not use. So I don't really know how to help you with this. This does not work for me very well. But it is a valid bow grip. If somebody is teaching you to use the Russian bow grip, that's fine. I use the Franko-Belgian style, which is the finger a little bit more pulled back and with a flat wrist. So you've got your finger here, these two, nice bumpy thumb, and the most important finger to me is the pinky on the bow. It should be curved on the top of the stick, not out here on the screw, because this is causing a lot of space, which is creating tension in my hand and down my wrist. So you want all of your fingers to be comfortably next to each other, not super spread out like this. Basically, most importantly, this nice curvy pinky, you should be able to like lift it and tap it. Sorry, I lifted the wrong finger. Yeah, nice spacious bow grip. You don't want anything collapsed or straight or bent like this. Hallmarks of my bow grip are very spacious and a nice flat wrist as much as possible. And now that you know how to hold your bow, I will go over some exercises to help train your bow hold. And after that, we will learn how to actually produce a sound on the instrument. So let's go do some bow workouts.